everything is in the everything important in the camera view. So I had put these in my case and I had closed them in the case and they got jammed, and so I had to pull them out as they came out. Apparently what seems like it's going to work just didn't work. And that's okay, because we just try it again, right, with our recycle card. This is how they came out. We've got the Loch Ness Monster. There's a monster, a potential monster in the scenario. Right? Could be from this part of the world. I think that's in Ireland, right? Hey, Google, where's the Loch Ness Monster at?
The Loch Ness Monster is a legendary creature said to inhabit Loch Ness in the Scottish Highlands.
Scottish.
Scientists consider the sightings to be hoaxes, wishful thinking, or the misidentification of mundane objects, as there is no credible scientific evidence for its existence. Despite this, interest remains high, and sightings continue to be reported to the official Loch Ness Monster Sightings Register.
All right. So apparently they're taking a register of stuff that they just don't think is experiencing that's happening, right? That's funny. Could have something to do with someone who's Scottish or of that descent. It's right on top of the death card, which is there is a transformation. So perhaps something that has been being recorded as something, they're going to try to say that it's actually something, since that's what they were going with, or something of another nature is going to be changing and transforming into one thing into another. Perhaps they're taking what someone is saying or doing and trying to make it look like something else. Like maybe for the fact that I do oracle cards, or I make oracle cards, or draw art of oracle cards, that I must be a witch of some kind. That I must cast spells of some kind. Which I do not. I don't do that. I believe in free will, and I believe that everybody should be able to make their own choices. I don't think it's fair for people to do stuff like that, and it's like cheating, and I'm not a cheater. Matter of fact, my nickname at my past job was the rule follower, and apparently that was not a good thing. Oh, you're the rule follower. Why, yes, I am. I am the rule follower, and I'm quite proud of it. Shouldn't everyone be a rule follower? Okay, we've got Ballsy coming in upside down. This whole stack is upside down. Ballsy upside down. You never know what ball you're going to get. A bag of balls. Someone's being a jerk. Someone's being ballsy. Maybe someone's trying to say someone's being ballsy, but they're really not. Maybe someone's saying someone's being a jerk, but they're really not. And the person who could be saying this is a Cancer with our Hermit card. They could be saying that this person was in hermit mode because they were a jerk and no one wanted to be around them. No one wanted to play ball with me. That's the best place for me to be, folks. I don't mind being alone. I've always grown up that way. You can't condemn someone by doing something to them that they're used to, right? Anywho, we're moving on to Pixie, which was upside down, and somebody's not playing around. It's not fun and games anymore. This is a Pixie haircut. It's not fun and games. The belief systems, they're trying to say someone doesn't have the belief systems that they do. Again, reiterating kind of what I just said about the whole spell work and the witchcraft and all that stuff. They're trying to make someone's belief systems a negative thing. They're trying to make it seem like someone's not playing around when it comes to their belief systems as far as in the negative sense. They're trying to recycle whatever it is that is going on in this person's life to make it appear to be something different than it is. Recycle and transformation. How many times can you change something? We've got identify underneath that. And apparently all this is happening, and it has to do with, and this is the way it came out, with the frizzy hair and the ruler. A CEO of a company, a manager of a company, someone who rules over its subjects, so to speak. Got the frizzy hair. It's just driving him nuts. I had a boss who left our store, and he came in saying, I'm going to go ahead and leave the store. I'm going to give someone else an opportunity to be able to be a manager. In order for them to be a manager, I'm going to go ahead and leave. And then he proceeded to say, I just can't do this anymore. And he said it in a way that he was just so irritated. And this was the kind of manager that was like making assumptions of what was going on. Like nobody knew how to do their job, or nobody knew how to have customer service, or nobody knew what they were doing. That's how he would talk to people over the walkies. And each time, of course, initially I didn't say anything about it. Or initially I would go and walk up to him in person and tell him exactly what was going on, kindly, professionally, just so he understood that things were taken care of. And eventually I got to the point where he would say something like, so-and-so is walking around the store and not doing anything. And I would have to politely say, actually, I asked so-and-so to go into the other department, and then go on from there. That's just an example. And I said it over the walkie. He wasn't understanding the fact that maybe the things that he was seeing were not accurate. I never understood why he was that way. I mean, I do understand why he was that way, I think, but I actually looked up to him just because it was like he was the one that ran the store. He was the one that had all the information. He was the one that was in the know, right? So I wanted to be able to learn and get guidance store-wise by him. Because it seemed like some of the other store manager or assistant managers would give wrong information just to make it look like you didn't know what you were doing. So then he would have to come and correct you. So that's why I went direct to him. Eventually, he seemed like he was irritated by that, and I don't know why. He wanted to make me a supervisor up in the front end. The assistant manager wanted to make me supervisor of the department. We've got a warning label here and a broom. A sweeping warning label. Okay. So instead of me deciding, I had them decide, where would you like me to be and where can I make the most benefit for the company. Wherever you'd like me to be, that's where I'll be. I loved the department I was already in, so they moved me to the front end. We've got braids here and a go signal at a crossroads. As I was just talking about being moved or changing position, someone else could be moving or changing position in their jobs. Braids, it's something that is weaved together. It's part of the plan, folks. Wherever you go in this crossroads, either direction is already part of the plan. It's already been identified as such. This is the toe tag. It's part of the plan. Someone already has thoughts about where it is that you'll be going and why you'll be going there. We have the updo. Everything is meticulously placed and planned. Thoughts? What are your thoughts on that? Well, come to find out, 2 years in a row, the company was in a deficit of $250,000 annually. Sure, we had shoplifting thefts there, but when they would add up the amount of what was stolen, is like as far as the people that they could capture and get the merchandise back, of which they didn't really want to have to call the police department on, which I thought was odd. No, we won't call them. They did change the laws, so it was like then you were able to call them afterwards. But the items that would be taken from the store would probably be about like $300, $400, $500. And for the life of me, I couldn't do the math of how that would add up to $250,000 a year. I didn't understand that. But I figured, they're managers, corporate will see the figures and, try to figure it out. I mean, it was 2 years in a row when it happened. I don't know if it ever did. Another example of what was going on there, ruler. We probably had 3 or 4 different people come through the cash office. And they would just say, oh, well, it's just not working out for whatever reason. And I didn't understand. We've got the peacock there. Someone feeling quite arrogant and quite fluffed in their feathers about whatever was going on and whatever they were probably getting away with. This is all alleged, folks. I don't have any proof. These are just things that, you think about and you're just like, you consider and you're like, I don't understand how that had happened. So I guess I have to say that it's alleged, right? These are just stories. We're at a crossroads here. Anywho, so they wanted me to be part of the cash office, and I'm like, sure. Mirror, reflecting. We're reflecting right now. Oh my goodness. I'm like, sure, I don't mind. I'd love to learn a new skill. I can do math. Shouldn't be that hard. I was trained for a day. I wrote down every single step, and I followed every single step to a T, but somehow the safe was always off. And I'm thinking, I don't understand this. Can I get someone to come back in and retrain me? Because apparently I'm doing something wrong if it's off. No, we don't have the resources to do that. You're just going to have to manage. You want me just to manage when the safe is off? I don't feel comfortable with that. My only saving grace was the fact that they did have cameras in that office. And so I knew that if anything would go haywire, they knew that I was not the one because they saw me in there. Well, I had to go on I went on a trip, a vacation. We've got a flat top. Maybe someone's seeing things clearly now. They can see all across the horizon over someone's flat top haircut. Thoughts? And they're thinking, okay, this should be quite simple. It should be quite straight to the point. It should be quite, across the board, pretty kind of simple. So when I was on vacation, they ended up bringing someone in, and someone came in and they balanced the safe. Thoughts? Wonderful. So the safe was only off when I was there. Great. What I didn't understand was the fact that I came to work after my little vacation thing, and they had another person there who was working in the cash office, who was the one who was training me before. But they didn't have me sit down and retrain with the person while I was there. It's like, why wouldn't you schedule me if you knew that there was an issue? So whatever resources that they didn't have, they had, but they didn't use the resources to retrain when I had requested it. We've got the piggy bank here and the braids. What are we weaving together here, folks? What is the story that was trying to be told? And if I have to reflect back, I can only imagine. $250,000 in deficit at a store for 2 years in a row is enough for a red flag for me. Heck, in 1 year is enough for me as a manager or anybody to say there must be something going on there. That would be $125,000 in 6 months. And in 3 months, that would be 75,000. Wait, no, that would be in a month and a half. $75,000. So that would be $50,000 a month. Roughly. I know the math is wrong. Here I just said I can do math. It's about $50,000. 50, 50, 150. It's a little over, so that's a lot of money. How does that happen? Why didn't anyone ask? And why didn't anyone ever reach out to me when I messaged the vice president of, which was the only contact that I could find, who I thought would care enough, of the district, I believe, about whatever else I thought was going on in the store? Why didn't anyone reach out? How come no one's asked me about my leave of absence? Why doesn't anyone care? Why did they keep me on the payroll for 2 or 3 years later and say that I earned almost $800 in life insurance benefits in the last year, in 2025? And why haven't they responded to tell me who the beneficiaries were and how much that group life insurance term was and why it wasn't being billed for 2024 and 2023? I don't understand. But here we are. Why did they allow a counterpart act erratically and unprofessionally at the front of the store in front of customers? Why? Crossroads. Asymmetrical. Something's not balanced. It's not even. Thoughts? Here we are with the thoughts. I'm just asking questions. I don't mean anything by them. They're just stories, right? Such a weird fragment of time. I just was hoping that they would do the right thing, folks. Let's get some training in on management. What's allowed, what's not allowed, what's okay, what's not okay. Just wanted to do the right thing. That's why I didn't sue. What do we have here? We've got an invitation only. So you can only be invited to this kind of scenario, whatever scenario we're going to be talking about. Oh, that was center of the deck. That should have been, that's interesting. I guess I'm going backwards. We've got a Scorpio here, an Aquarius. We've got to swear, meaning like to take an oath, to be honest. Biblically speaking, if you have to swear, though, then you probably shouldn't be doing business with those people anyway, because your word should be enough. Because you should be trustworthy in all that you do. Mold, I guess that's old and out the window. I guess that's been thrown in the trash. Someone having honor in their agreements and their words and what they do. That's in the trash. So the back of the deck would have been zipper, which is, this is all about to be exposed or zipped up. By invitation only, though, folks. And I accidentally said attention. So obviously, someone ought to pay attention to whatever that may be. Because the rule follower sure did. Front of the deck, we've got thoughts. That's a popular card. What are your thoughts? We've got the braids coming out again. Oil change. Maybe someone needs to do a change of associates, a change of the team, a change of the environment, and change of the managers, perhaps. We've got a warrior here. Fighting battles as you sleep. I had a dream that my storage from that neighborhood actually was all sold. That's interesting. So apparently I had stuff in storage in the same shopping center as the store I was working at. And apparently in my dream state, all of that stuff was sold. Even my coffee cup collection, I remember specifically saying in my dream. Interesting. My new beginning, was my new beginning sold? Is someone else's new beginning being sold? We've got our piggy bank. Sold to the highest bidder. This warrior who fights battles behind the scenes or as they sleep. Maybe someone's getting paid to do that. We've got a tiara here. There's a tiara involved, something about respect, something about honor, something about royalty. Maybe there's royal money that's trying to be protected here. Maybe they're changing the hands of. Maybe they're just trying to weave their ways into this piggy bank of royalty. That's not going to work there, is it? You're not from around here, are you? No, I'm not. Not in that kind of way. I don't do things the way other people do things, apparently, which I thought we were all like a happy little family there. I was so happy there. I mean, every little family has that family member that just is a little bit, hard to deal with. And then you've got the sisters that are in competition of each other. And I didn't understand, and I never really believed about competition. I don't understand. I mean, I don't get it when it goes like negative. We had 2 assistant managers that were constantly arguing with one another. I don't really know the truth about what was going on there, so I can't really speak on it. I just know there was always friction, and one would always be smiling like she thought it was just so funny. She ended up being the store manager. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Chakra system. So someone is trying to battle and protect their chakra system as they're sleeping because this is their tie to their their self-respect, to their finances. Obviously, your chakra system is connected to those things, right? We've got an empty bag here. Haunted. Someone is haunted by somebody's empty bag. Maybe people were trying to take someone's bag or conceal someone's bag, or maybe they were haunting somebody and they were trying to hide the fact that they were haunting someone. Sasquatch, they would do it in kind of little increments. They would just do it sometimes and then they would kind of let it go a little bit, and they would do it right there out in the open. I have to say, there was a cart there that had, as I said before, these little flowers that have to do with your heart health. There were some flowers that were in a shopping cart in a circle right outside of the building. And I took a look around the whole shopping center, and those flowers were nowhere to be seen in that shopping center. So it's not like the wind just blew them all together into the cart. I pointed them out to one of our assistant managers, and I said, "Isn't this weird?" She goes, "Yeah, that is weird." And then I was curious, and I'm like, something told me, just go ahead and look them up on Google, see what kind of flowers there are. And sure enough, they had to do with your heart health. Some kind of herb that deals with the heart. And mind you, I was having heart issues at the time. And I said, "Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting?" We've got a double take. Yeah, you've got to take a double take on those things that seem a little odd. Is it really happening? Is it really going on? Is it something that, come on, are you just making this up in your head? Any sane person is not going to ask themselves if they're making this up in their head. They're not going to ask themselves if what they're experiencing is real. Someone who is not cognitively, psychologically complete will not ask those questions. They just go with it. Gesture. Someone's getting paid to entertain, to distract. Someone was trying to obviously distract someone from a piggy bank of some sort, trying to send somebody into the abyss so they would be in a state of where they could not even function and could not even try to focus on their piggy bank or their self-respect or the way people should treat them with respect. They just wanted this person out of sorts, but somebody blew the whistle. Blow the whistle. Whoo, whoo, whoo. I'm going to do that every single time, folks. So sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Someone called foul. Somebody called for alert. Somebody called something. Danger. Everyone should have a whistle on their keychain in case there's ever an issue or problem. Just saying, we've got a studio here. Someone was trying to create a problem or a foul. They didn't want to have an empty bag. They didn't want to keep concealing stuff. Thoughts? We have our fellowship here. The fellowship is meant to be here to get people together, right? People are working together. People are honoring together. People are, worshiping together. There's a fellowship here of some sort of the spiritual nature. We've got those little black crows there. We've got all the pieces here in the stained glass. These can be all different walks of life, all coming together to participate in something together in this creation, this foul creation. We have the sun here. It's being illuminated. It's being seen, and it is being charged with the flat top because everything is very clear, simple, easy to see at this point. We've got the trumpets here. Someone's being called out, or they could be trying to assemble the troops together. The trumpet flower in the back are known to have a substance within them that causes people not to be able to make their own decisions. It causes people to be in a state of freeze. If you do too much of it, it can cause someone to pass away. Let's distract on that. Passing away underneath the piggy bank. We have the flat top underneath the double take. So someone did that double take on something and now they're seeing it quite clearly of what was going on. Calling the troops of this distraction of somebody's finances. We've got milk here coming out. Someone's trying to milk the situation. Milk can also be the lost and found. You know how people would put someone on a milk carton? Back in the day, I don't know if they still do that. Milk mustache, all the celebrities used to have that commercial where they would have those milk mustaches where that milk was just left behind on their faces. Maybe the look is all over somebody's face. Part of me wants to go into that building or to where I used to work and just say hi. But I don't want to hurt myself like that. I mean, sure, I would be quite brave to walk in there just to see the look on their faces, but it's like, why even do that? I just stay away from that place. I have nothing to do with them. I tried to email them asking for the doctor for the workman's comp place, and I didn't get a response, so I just left it alone. It makes me took me a long time to even see the commercials for that place without feeling really nervous, anxiety. So I just wanted to just leave it in the past, but apparently I'm still talking about it. Somebody's bitter about something being left behind. Somebody's bitter about this milk causes strong bones, right? Someone's bitter about advertisements of assembling the troops or the information coming out. Someone's bitter about someone calling foul on something. What card was this one? The chakra system. Someone's bitter, someone's calling foul on the fact that they were trying to disrupt someone's chakra system, or someone's chakra system is still in balance. And someone is bitter about that because they couldn't alter or change someone's chakra system to get somebody out of balance or act out. We've got dollar bills coming out. So this is 2 cards about finances, the piggy bank, saving money, savings. And the dollar bills is all about the FICO score going up and down, your ATMs, your stock markets, your accounts that are like plus or minus, your stock accounts. That's under this creation, the empty bag of concealing, and your thoughts. We've got the bus. Who's driving the bus to this fellowship, folks? Who gets together? Are these people in fellowship getting some kind of education? Are they being dragged to some kind of information of education? Someone is being driven to the point of realizing that there's some kind of something. There's haunted fellowship. So is this maybe some kind of spiritual place, like a temple or a church or something that deal with hauntings? Someone is getting educated on the fact that that's actually a thing. Zombie. Mindless activity. An old habit that's returning. They wanted someone to be driven to the point of an old habit. Recidivism, going back to something. So we've got an old habit returning and going back to something, a poor choice. It's quite clear that maybe that someone needs to go back to jail. Someone who's had some kind of conflict with somebody in that group or somebody in that situation needs to go back to jail. This person has been in prison before, and now someone is finally seeing that these things are all connected to this person, all this concealment, all these things trying to get to somebody's finances and self-respect and all the things that they've been doing to distract people. They're having some kind of meeting for this person to say, you know what, this person needs to go back to jail. They need to be returned to jail. There's holes in their story with this cheese. There's holes in the finances. Why? Something's not making sense here. There's holes in everybody's story. Everyone who's being assembled, there's holes there. They're talking about the holes. They're talking about the distractions of this piggy bank. They're understanding that they don't have the whole story here. We've got a cabin, which is also my lodge card that could be involving some kind of lodge. And I'm saying it's definitely going to be a lodge because I just accidentally, well, not accidentally, but I clicked on a video because I was going to give it a title and then I didn't have time to even listen to it because I had to move on. But the part that came up that I heard was the cabin. When I was talking about the cabin should be also having the lodge on it. So I know that that was just an indication that the next time I saw the cabin, it was meant to be the lodge. So maybe everyone's going to the lodge in order to have this meeting. We've got a virus in a bathtub. Maybe someone wants to put some kind of virus in somebody's water. Maybe the virus that they were trying to instill into somebody's emotional state or their chakra system to be at ease, they're going to have to pull the plug on that. Considering I just saw the recycle card in my mind's eye. And I don't usually see things like that. But they're going to have to recycle the virus in another way. Medlar open arse. This is a medieval fruit. So these are people who participate in medieval ways. Totally very rotten. The more rotten it is, the more they like it. That's interesting. The waterfall can cause erosion, especially when it gets caught up on some kind of rock there. Water is a powerful source. It is also connected to emotions, like we were talking about with the bathtub. Someone's trying to create out of control emotions, controlled out of controlled emotions, let's just say. Because had they not been trying to provoke or create, then we've got frother coming up, trying to make those emotions even larger than what they were by unsettling their chakra system, unsettling their bank account, driving them to a point of just a mindless action. And let's just send them back to jail. We've got the updo, the conservative restaurant. And we all know what I've said up in the past about the restaurant that I know and who this card is in honor of. It is my friend who passed away when I was probably in my late teens, who had a restaurant chain and passed away. His name was Barry. For everybody else, though, it could have something to do with going out to eat. Conservative, a nice restaurant. Maybe someone will invite somebody to a nice restaurant and try to egg them on into some kind of emotional upheaval. So be mindful if someone's inviting you out. A nice restaurant. Someone could be trying to invoke some kind of emotion just so they can say, see, I told you that's who they were. Just be mindful of that. We've got thoughts in one corner, virus in the other corner. So someone could try to be infecting someone's thoughts about a certain situation. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I only did 4 rows. It just seems so extensive, like it just kept going on and on. Let's see where these would have ended up. I guess I could just make this the 5th row. We've got less than. The bottom of the ocean. So apparently this all is less important than the bottom of the ocean, which is hitting rock bottom. So everything that happened before this, what is important here is the fact that someone's reaching rock bottom. They're reaching a place of probing the depths for what is lurking. Someone is getting to the bottom of the situation. Someone is hitting rock bottom. Somebody is dark in the abyss of things. They're kind of, I'm thinking they're nervous and scared considering they've got this whole whistle thing going on. They're bitter. They're sick. We've got the bottom of the ocean and thoughts. They're in their thoughts. They're in the bottom of the ocean of their thoughts. They're in a dark place. They're in a place of unknown. They don't know what to do with themselves in that place. Center of the reading is a flat top. It should be quite simple. Should be quite straight to the point. It should be even. This is about evening the playing field support, I guess. Good news on the way with the sun and the trumpet being on either side of that. Good news is on the way. A double take and recidivism. They're going to have to take a double take on having to be sent to jail or going back to jail. Maybe it's their second time going back to jail. Maybe they're thinking, okay, well, there could be a reason for all this happening because somebody maybe was sent to jail. Maybe that's the connection. Someone's upset that they were sent to jail. So they're trying to cause some kind of holes in the ability for someone to even get to the point of having maybe a vacation home or a second house, messing with their finances on it. But someone is definitely being driven to the point, getting educated on the fact that of this zombie mentality. I guess you could call it flying monkeys, right? Oh, I didn't see this, folks. Where would this have been? Right here. So that means the bottom of the ocean is the outcome. Less than thoughts. So someone has a thought of themselves as being less than. There are no mistakes, folks. Just saying. It was meant to be said, whatever was said. We've got the bathtub and the chakra system. Maybe someone needs to take time out and relax in a bathtub with some Epsom salts, even though I don't see that card out here. Be mindful. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionalist. I'm not a medium. I'm not a psychic. I just have pictures that I've drawn, and I just tell stories through these pictures. And you want to apply the photos and the meanings of these pictures into your own scenario. So certainly if these words have special meaning for you, then that's what you want to derive them for yourself. So the outcome is the bottom of the ocean and all that and a bag of chips with this ring operation who only saw a short side of things. Mystic, I accidentally pulled that when I hit the dash. A negative mystic, a negative outcome, a negative future. Maybe someone told them something negatively about some kind of ring or commitment or jewels, for that matter. All that in a bag of chips and jewels. What a jewel. Turn back red flags because it's coming to light about what everybody wanted with the Aniston haircut. Everybody wanted her haircut, right? That became such the thing. It was such a fad. But it's coming to light now, folks. So just be mindful. Why are you doing it? Everyone's in a pickle. They're in a vulnerable state. They're in a situation where they're actually growing more, or ROADKILL. People being rolled over and just left to DIE. Do you think any of these people who were part of this group, do you think they really actually even care about you? They're all in it for what they wanted in it. Certainly if they don't care about the person they're doing it to, they're not going to care about the person they're doing it with. Just saying. So there's a growth in this happening. They're seeing each other go ahead. They're turning on each other. They're leaving everybody just out to DIE. All over this unicorn, ladybug. The ladybug eats the aphids, eats the bad guys. Divides the flowers. Take one, scene two, over and over and over again. They attract the hierarchy. The hierarchy of the spiritual realms, the angels. Should we pull what angels they are? I don't know if I even know where those cards are, unfortunately. Isn't that something? I don't know where those cards are. You know when you think that you've got such a perfect place for them and then you forget where you put it? Oh, found it. Found them. Okay, let's pull our hierarchy cards and see what realm is with us. What realms are we attracting in this situation? I have a song in my head and I can't place which one it is. Do you remember me? Oh, sitting in a nice dress. That's how you want. Okay. So whatever that song is about, I want you to remember me in a nice dress. I think it's Taylor. I was going to say Taylor Dane. That's funny. Why can't I think of her name? Swift. Taylor Swift. Okay, so we've got our hierarchy cards here. Oh, the chakra system. We didn't pull the chakra system cards. Let's do that. I even had the chakra system cards to clarify that. So it could have something to do with someone that you've known or someone that you've dated before, considering that song keeps running through my mind. Someone like that could be a part of what's going on. Maybe they're working with your old job somehow. Okay, let's do the chakra system, which one they were trying to affect. This one was pulling over the soul star chakra, which is to the soul chakra. It's 6 to 12 inches above the crown. When we had the crown there and the chakra system, that's the one they were trying to affect, folks. I think that's enough. We can only just have to pull this one. They were trying to mess with someone's divine wisdom, soul's purpose, and life mission. And they were trying to mess with the universal love and truth, the ability to see past the ego, and clears the karmic patterns. Direct line to spirit. That is so interesting. And it's right next to the crown. So they were obviously trying to mess with someone's crown chakra. We didn't even have to pull this. This is the card. So the crown and the one above the crown is the one that they were trying to mess with. But it's like, if you're going to be messing with divine wisdom and the soul's purpose and life mission, you're not in the universal love and truth. If you're messing with that part of someone, you're messing with the universe itself. The person that has to carry on the universal message and the divine wisdom and the purpose and the mission, that person probably isn't even aware that they have all that to do. They just do what they're told by their direct connection that they obviously have. Do you think that the universal connection is going to allow that person to be disconnected? Or, on the other hand, they may allow it to seem like that. But behind the scenes, considering we've got this warrior who is fighting while they're sleeping in the same row, they're still connected. So whomever is trying to create all of this havoc and who's getting educated on things, who's being haunted by their choices, perhaps this is the education they are now getting. The fact that you can't separate someone who is direct connected to the universe. You can't separate them. You can't take someone off of their life purpose and their mission when they've got that direct connection. I have throat chakra on the top. You can't keep someone from saying the things that they were meant to say and meant to do. Dominions is on the top of the deck. Hey Google, what realm is the dominions in the hierarchy of things?
In the traditional Christian angelic hierarchy, specifically the influential system established by Pseudo-Dionysius, the dominions, sometimes called lordships, occupy the middle rank. This hierarchy is divided into 3 spheres, with the dominions serving as the first order of the second sphere, positioned between the higher celestial choirs that adore God and the lower choirs that are more directly involved in human affairs.
So the dominions are the hierarchy that we are working with, that connection in between those two phases. That's who here is here assisting with this whole process. I was going to say, need we say more? But let's go ahead with this other one, the entities. I can't make it up, folks. So the people who are creating all this havoc and issue or problems, this is the attraction. Remember, we were attracting the dominions and the entities. These are who are battling it out, so to speak, at this point. We've got the lower earth entities, those that attach themselves to people who participate in lower realm thinking, mentality, habits. Kind of like if you go out to a bar, then you can most likely expect that if you're in a place that serves alcohol and has the whole lustful nature, you're probably going to leave that place with a few of those entities attached to you. Right? If you don't know how to clear them off, and it's like the next day you have that hangover and you're kind of crabby and your eyes are sensitive to the light. Well, because you've got an entity attachment to you now. When you drink, you end up with an attachment of some lustful entities that wants to come and just create havoc and give you a good time at the moment. And then what happens? You're not in the right mind of making decisions half the time. Perhaps you decided that you were going to have, unprotected, and now you've got that entity to deal with. That probably stays with you for a long time. I'm like flabbergasted that we had dominions and entities both come out. It's definitely a battle in between those two. We think on the earthly plane that we're just handling this all on our own, that we are the ones who are just maneuvering these things, and no, they're being worked through us. Hey Google, what is the meaning of cherubim in the hierarchy of things? I probably said it so
the
wrong.
cerebrum is the largest part of the human brain,
responsible
for higher level functions such as thinking, reasoning, memory, and sensory processing.
Thought.
It's divided into two hemispheres and controls voluntary movement and conscious thought.
That's interesting that actually directly relates to what we're talking about. But cherubim. Hey Google, this is the word that has to do with the hierarchy of the angelic realms, and I'm going to probably say it wrong. If you could fix it to work in reference to that meaning, it's the cherubim, brim, cherubim, meaning.
You're referring to the cherubim. In the traditional angelic hierarchy, they are considered one of the highest orders, often depicted as attendants to God who embody wisdom and guard sacred spaces. Would you like to know more about the other ranks in that hierarchy?
No, thank you. So you have it. Highest realm.
Understood. If you'd like to learn more about the other angelic ranks or have any other questions, just let me know.
So that's what we're dealing with, folks. That is what they are dealing with, is the highest realm, the mid-range, with the connection between the two and the earth entities, the little creepers that pretty much test people of which direction they're going to go in life. That is what these people are dealing with their hauntings. They made the choice to do this, and now they're having to learn the lesson on the spiritual realm of things. This is a spiritual war that we're having, folks. I don't know if I could say that word, so sorry. But they said that we're going to have a third world WAR, and it was said once by somebody, I don't recall, was it the biblically speaking? I think it was in the Bible that said that we were going to experience the third WW3 as a spiritual WARFARE. So get your minds in order and make sure you're understanding the fact that that's what this is. And know that it was all predestined to be this way in order to test the minds and hearts of those to see what side of the realm that they were going to be on. In previous stories that we've had, it's been very clear that the highest realm of spirit, ancient spirit, is coming to collect. So keep yourselves hydrated and keep your minds right, and make sure you stay even keeled and centered in whatever direction it is that you are wanting to show yourself as, and where your true heart, intent, and beliefs lie. You've got to stay more true to that. Don't even consider making a poor choice or just saying, oh, it doesn't matter. I'll just go ahead and, I'll just run that stop sign. You know what I mean? Because there's the direct consequence of that if you do. Stay pure of heart, folks. Live in peace. Make it a great day, because there's always something in every day that makes it a great day. Take care, and thanks for being here. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't yet. It's always fun to have a new subscriber. Take care. Oh my goodness. Do you remember me? I want you to remember me. That's the song.